How you guys doing? Top of the morning, everyone. Today we are here to bring you something we've been dreading to do, but it's time. We got to get it done. So let's go see what we're about to do today. Alright, so walking in here, you guys can see we are draining this pool back down. We're going to leave the fish in, however, but we've got some of our materials here. What are we doing today? Well, you can see we've got the belagios halfway plumbed in. The return is plumbed all the way in. So you can see we've got the overflows coming in against the wall, going back into the sump over there. But now today we're going to hook up the return and get these tanks with a lot more flow through them. That means we can add fish into that aquarium and not have to worry about water quality. So that's what I'm working on today. We are going to be using one of these reflow dart pumps, and I'll be progressing along this slowly, but right now we are waiting on the tank to drain so I can cut in this bulkhead and get this in so we have somewhere to start from. Alright guys, so here is the EPDM. This is basically the primer before we put the seam tape on. This is a little sponge. As you can see, I've already done it. So you got to bring your tools out, make sure everything is where you want it, and cut the size. I took a EPDM rubber roof patch, and I took this glue and I glued that to it after I cut out the perfect hole to fit this bulkhead. So now we have a nice tight seal on this pool pond here. And now, after this glue dries, I can go ahead and go in there and cut out this part of the pool liner, and then I can go ahead and install my bulkhead, and we can start plumbing over to the Belagio tank. Alright, so I just explained this to Reaper on the behind the scenes video, but I figured you guys might want to know, or some of you might be asking who don't follow the second channel. And some of you might be asking, why did I put this extra piece of cover tape for EPDM liner on here? Well, exactly what I said. It dirties it up, so there is no leak points, and this liner does not twist and bend as you're trying to tighten up the bulkhead. We've had these walls fail before in last ponds, and we've done this since, and we have not had a problem. So this is how I do it every single time. It's a few more seconds, but it adds to the longevity of your project. Okay, so here is the hole. Here is our 2-inch bulkhead. You can see it is a tight fit, so it just grabs. And now when you go to turn, you don't see no flex in that wall, just the bulkhead will turn. So that is exactly what you want. Sorry about the camera placement there, I was trying to look past it. But here, let me show you again. As you turn, you can see the bulkhead's turning, but this wall nor this patch is turning, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do. So this is going to be the strainer, basically the inlet for the pump. So let me go ahead and tighten this bulkhead down, then I can start on gluing on the fittings. Okay, we are inching along. So looking underneath this 550, looking through the stand, there's that bulkhead we installed. You can see that perfect circle on the inside, but there goes the nut on the outside. Had no problem getting it on. Went ahead and glued in these pipes. We started from one end and worked my way over. Got a little messy in that corner because it was a little tight space, so kind of just flicked the glue on there. But here he comes. The one stick came up. We had to use a coupler to get just 2 more inches, which is kind of a shame, but what you got to deal with. Now the piping is sitting on top of the overflow. Now it's coming all the way down and it's ending right there. So I got to join it from basically right here, come over to my pump inlet, and then from my pump outlet I have to connect back into that drain right there. This is already glued and ran, so I only have a few more connections to make, but I didn't want to bore you guys with the over repetitiveness of plumbing in tanks. You guys know what to do by now. But right here for this pump, we have these screw-in fittings. Now you can use Teflon tape. Most of the time it fails over time, but you can also use this liquid thread sealant. It is for gas pipe, PVC pipe, just basically any pressurized thread that you need to seal. You can put a healthy amount of this on the threads all the way around and then screw it into your pump on both sides, and then you're basically back to a gluable fitting. My 2-inch pipe will glue right into here on both sides. This is 2-inch inlet, 1.5-inch outlet. So I have a reducer because I didn't think of this in time. I went from 1.5 up to 2-inch, thinking this was 2-inch on both sides. So I had to go and buy a reducer for right there. No big deal, but just a few more connections to make and we will be ready to go. All right, so there's the connector connected all the way over to, oh, look at that. That is some pretty piping. So we got it connected to the inlet of the pump. Coming through the outlet, we have a slip-in 90 so we can save a little bit of room. This is 1.5 inch going to a 2-inch reducer, 2-inch pipe, 90 down, over to this T, where one T comes up to the return of this tank, and then the other T goes up and over, it's piped around, runs all the way down, and it does the same number on the other end of the Belagio tank. Okay, it's midnight. Work never stops around here, but luckily my water level is back up in the pond, so I am able to turn my pump on. Now there was so much air in the line I actually had to back flush it first to be able to purge some of that air out. Now that the line's filled, I was able to plug in my pump. However, I'm not complete. I'm only going to be able to get one tank on the system tonight because over there I was 190 away from finishing this project tonight. So I shut the valve off over there and we're not going to use that tonight. So I kept the pump on and I just flipped the valve so the 1,800 gallon per hour pump is no longer going to both tanks. It's just going over to this Belagio tank. And then the other pump is full blast and it's coming out there pretty fast. So this tank right here has 1,800 gallons flowing into it and it's only EPA high. This pump eats that 1,800 and then adds about 1.5 inches on the head of this tank. So what this does is now I'm testing our drain to see if the water we're pumping in is going to be able to be handled with our overflow. So this is way more water than we're going to be pumping through. But as you know, of course, our filtration will definitely handle more water. So we have 2 3-inch returns, and this is the 2-inch return being teed off onto each drip tray here. And that's coming back, so it's getting biologically filtered, cycling through this pond, going up to the tanks, coming back over here through the 3-inch pipes from the 4,000, going through the sock table, settling chamber, back to the bio balls. So we are going to tweak this system a little bit as we upgrade our filtration, because technically all the water coming back from the Belagio should be going through mechanical, biological, then back to the tank. And then so we're going to be adding on some filter pads on the top of these drip trays. That should make the water quality just a little bit better. And then over here you can see we have the returns from these smaller tanks coming in through here, biological back to the pond. So we're going to add more mechanical pads there. But now I'm just waiting for this pool to fill back up to its overflow. And then we got to hook up this overflow back to the monster pond. So as we pump water up from the monster pond, cycles through these whole systems, back out to the monster pond. So we've been doing this off of overflows and tubes out of the tanks at first. So we're going to pipe this in a little bit more permanent, but that will come with time. But I think that is enough for tonight. I will be back at this tomorrow, so I will see you guys then. Alright, so you guys seen where I was at last night? So now this is what we have on top of the tank. This is just an open pipe. We use it as a cap. It is no longer being used. No water's to it. It's capped down below. But this pipe right here is our return. So we have this coupler glued on. We went ahead and made a contraption, which I'm going to pass the camera to my dad. This contraption right here, this is a slip elbow, so this will fit right down into that coupler, and this is glued together just in case that has enough pressure to pop off. This will come off below the water, and then basically on both sides you have water flowing up and out of this overflow.
Well, explain why. You're using this to fill the overflow, and the overflow is overflowing out into the tank.
So there's never no stagnant water sitting in this overflow like we have been for the last few months. And this also creates the whole in on this side, out on that side. It whole rushes of water going through the tank, passing through.
Like a river system.
Never no dead spots. Plus with the bubble wall, it keeps the water churning and the dirt suspended.
The water's churning like this constantly with the bubble wall. Water's coming in here, going through and going out on that side. So basically water comes in and churns like a corkscrew all the way through and then goes out. So no stagnant water anywhere.
Alright, now I'm going to glue this in real quick and we'll be good to go.
You've already got the motor plumbed in, so all you got to do is open the valve to the side and we're done.
Correct. I showed them last night all the troubles I had with trying to purge this thing. I had to stick a 2-inch pump down in there to get it to go for me.
Now this hose here is just, it's temporary, it's just sitting there. It don't need to be here. We haven't put it away yet. Correct.
Alright, now after that dries for just a couple of seconds, I'll turn this valve and I'll show you what the tanks look like. Alright, so here we are. This is what the water quality looks like just running the pump overnight. So you can see the fish look great in both tanks actually. Just beautiful colors all over the place. But I think that does it for today's video. These puppies are plumbed in. Now you guys will have to wait and see what we have next in store for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you want to see more crazy adventures with the Ohio Fish Rescue, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, stay fishy, my friends.